All right, we're live. What's going on, everyone? This is Johnny Grant. You're watching maybe episode 1, maybe episode 2, one of the first episodes, one of the first Viral Real Estate podcast episodes. So if you're watching, thank you for watching. If you're listening, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe. We're here today with the Mr. Kenneth Blake.
That's right.
Luxury real estate agent, luxury real estate specialist with the Stormberg Group here in Middle Tennessee. So they service Nashville, Williamson County. But Blake, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What I missed? Introduce yourself.
Again, thanks for having me on. It's awesome to be here. I've been looking forward to doing something like this with you for a little while now. We represent Middle Tennessee. I have been in real estate now since 2007.
Okay.
I've been licensed since 2007. I've been in real estate since whenever I first got out of high school. My father is in real estate as well.
Okay.
So we did the whole home flipping thing and did a lot of the work ourselves. So that was, real estate is something that I've always been passionate about. I've always enjoyed that creativity of seeing something grow from the ground up. So that for me is it's a lot of fun to see. So man, that's kind of my thing. Yeah.
So you're from Middle Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I'm from Murfreesboro.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And so how long has your dad been in real estate? And I'm glad you brought that up because, obviously we know each other outside of this podcast, but I've never talked to you about what it was like coming on board as a second generation, right? Second generation real estate agent.
Right. Yeah. So of course, it's in my blood because, as a realtor, we work hard, man, and it's 24/7. So being with my dad, I hear a lot of conversations and just kind of growing up around the business. But he's been in the business now for close to 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, most of my life. Right now he's West Tennessee, the Mount Juliet area. But again, he's been out here in our Franklin area showing homes here this past week. So it's really cool to have him in the business and someone to call and talk to and kind of share stories and, get advice from. And,
So how hands-on was he when you were getting started? Like, did he show you like, hey, here's what you need to do. Don't do this. Don't market like this, market like this.
Right.
What were those early conversations like?
I laugh because we really didn't do a lot of business per se together because of the, geographically, I had one market and he had a different market.
Okay.
He is, very traditional in the sense of, the direct mailing, working your past clients, reaching out to them and always trying to provide that value so that, they call you whenever it's time to sell or buy and that kind of deal. He's brought more value into my life when it comes to situational contract writing, that type of thing. Which way should I go with this home inspection, or just as a realtor, you're constantly putting out fires, trying to stay ahead of the ball and really protect your client. So that for me was a huge value add, having him as a realtor and being dad and just being able to call and talk to him without feeling like feeling like you were going to be judged for not knowing a specific something.
Safe place to talk
to. Yeah, man, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, and it was a good balance because I wasn't showing up at his house, where his office is. He likes to work from home as much as possible. So we weren't working every day together, kind of a deal. There's a great balance. Everything is just typically been through phone calls or just as situations arise. And it's been really cool throughout the years as he's got to see me grow and do some things that he's never got to accomplish in the business, and vice versa. So it's really cool.
That is cool. So let's talk about this pin that you have on your chest. The was it certified?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Certified luxury home specialist, right?
That's right.
So how did you get that? Have you always been a luxury real estate agent? I know that's your niche. How did you
Nice.
fall into that niche?
That is
Or did
great
you
question.
purposefully go into that niche?
I did
Talk about that.
I did definitely make a decision one day to purposefully enter into the realm of the luxury market. And I know for a lot of realtors, it's a very intimidating thing. You think because it's $1 million+ home that the transaction's going to change, and
Yeah,
you know, they're going to expect more out of you, and in some instances maybe they do, but you know, I found out that all the paperwork's the same.
really.
Yeah, it's a purchase and sell agreement. You've got your home inspection, everything follows suit. But no, I was not always a luxury home specialist. I sold real estate in Murfreesboro, and when you first get into the business, you'll sell real estate anywhere. I mean, you are licensed for the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, so if you're listening or watching this, Murfreesboro is not a college town. It's
Oh,
it's it's
I
I mean,
it is.
it's
I mean,
kind of a college town, but there's
yeah,
also a lot of jobs there. It's got a pretty well-rounded
absolutely.
economy, but
Yeah.
it's about 45 minutes southeast of Nashville.
Mhm.
So it's not like the main like high, it's not like really a luxury market, right? I mean, there's some
Yes, yes.
expensive
Okay,
homes, but
exactly. Yep, there are some expensive homes. There's not a huge luxury market there, and it's about a half an hour from Nashville. But for a long time, that Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, the market was one of the fastest growing markets. Like at number 5 at one point, I believe, maybe even a little higher as far as on a national level. Um, because yes, Nissan's,
headquarters,
headquarters
yeah.
is there, not their corporate side, but their actual production side of things. Verizon's call center is there, and yes, MTSU they actually have the highest student count as far as so they're bigger than UT. So that brings in revenue and families and all kinds of sports enthusiasts and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, Murfreesboro has grown a lot in the
Hmm.
past decade. But being out there, at some point, you it's not that I got burnt out in that market, being in that market, but everyone, well, not everyone, but I know me and other successful guys that have come from Murfreesboro, we aspire to move out towards the Williamson County market or the Davidson County market and just grow. We just
Higher
want,
price points.
yeah, higher
Because
price points. Yeah.
what was when you were selling in Murfreesboro, and obviously there's been some fluctuation in the market
Mhm.
because you've been in so long. But let's talk average price point in Murfreesboro versus Williamson County or Davidson County, like you've
Sure,
mentioned.
yeah. So it's gone up a little bit in the past couple of years, but for a long time, the average price point there was 225,
Yeah,
235.
yeah.
It's closer now to the threes,
So you cut your teeth selling $220,000 real estate in Murfreesboro.
hmm
When did the switch into like these luxury markets and kind of becoming this luxury real estate agent? When did that happen?
Yeah, the switch really happened for me about 3 years ago, is whenever I really started focusing more on the luxury market and doing a lot of the similar things that I would do for any other market, understanding um, the days on the market for a home at 1 million to 1.5 million,
Sure.
1.5 million to 2. There's going to be a difference there. The pool of buyers looking at a $2.5 million home is going to be smaller than looking at $1 million home. Um, Also, the Brentwood market, I believe last year my average sales price was 825,
Okay.
and the Brentwood market is moving closer and closer to 1 million being the average, priced home sold. So, and it's the same transaction, it's the same paperwork, um,
So
same amount of time
your
into the
average
deal.
transaction price jumped from
Yeah,
mid twos to mid eight.
it doubled. Yeah, for sure, it doubled. Um, and again, it's just creating a presence. You know, I've had agents ask how I broke into that luxury market, and um, perception is reality. Like, you create a space and a presence in whatever market you're selling, in whatever industry that you're in. There are guys that I follow that have helped me out tremendously in just mindset and understanding what to focus on. With this day and age, there's so much information that you could take in. You really got to, filter, specific. You just got to figure out who you want to be your mentor, and I mean, because you could have 10, but for me, I focus on a couple guys and that information that comes in, and one of them really talks about obscurity being your biggest obstacle to overcome when you're in any kind of business, any kind of
Grant
sales.
Cardone,
Yeah.
Uncle G.
Yes,
Shout
Uncle
out to
G.
Uncle G.
Absolutely. Shout out to Grant. He has helped me just, again, change my mindset and focus on the right things. And again, obscurity is one of those. People do want to do business with the ones that they know of and who they trust. And if they don't know you, they're not going to do business with you.
They don't know you, like you, trust you. And that's the
Yeah.
thing, too. Like, I talk to people about this all the time in terms of video. Like, people know what you look like, right?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
it's like people get so intimidated to get on video. Your friends, like your family, like people, they already know what you look like. There's
Right.
nothing to be intimidated of. And I mean, right now, 2019, it's like attention is so cheap. Like, you can go out there and produce a video. I mean, even this podcast, right?
Right.
Like, a lot of people will see this, a lot of people will hear this, and that just means that you, opposed to other people who aren't making a concerted effort to market themselves and get that attention, more people are going to know you, like you, trust you.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's why we've employed Mr. Johnny Grant here.
Hey, I'll pay you later.
Yeah, to help with that. Advertising and reaching people and getting in front of them is key. You got to be able to do that, and you got to know your stuff. Whenever that opportunity arises, to win their business and to create value and to show them how you separate yourself from the rest of the pack. I mean, we all know that real estate right now is saturated with agents, um, because they feel like they can get in and well, Blake
Make
did
a
it.
quick dollar.
Yeah, Blake did it. I can do it.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And
Yeah.
and that is true. But it takes the right mindset, just like in anything that you do. And I'm a strong believer in, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been successful guys doing business for years and years,
Yeah.
and you just find someone that you can look up to and follow in those footsteps. And
So, so practically speaking, because I think that's really difficult, and also impressive to be able to increase your average transaction price so much and to
Mhm.
make a decision and say, hey, I want to go into luxury real estate, and then to just be able to flip a switch and do that. So, brand new agent comes up to you and they say, hey, Blake, I want to sell luxury real estate. What are some
Mhm.
practical things, like beyond mindset? What are some practical things that you would tell them to do to break into the luxury real estate market?
So the first thing that comes to my mind, if it's a brand new agent and they come to me and they ask that, first off, you need to understand the anatomy of a transaction.
Sure.
Understanding the paperwork. I mean, there are so many situations that will arise that if you know the contract and you know what it reads, you know how to deal with that situation.
Sure.
And you know what your options are.
Sure.
And
So
that's
let's assume they know all that, or let's take someone that was in your shoes, right?
okay.
So
Okay.
they're selling real
Mhm.
estate, and
Mhm.
they want to say, you know what, Blake, I love what you did. Can you
Mhm.
tell me how to break into the luxury real estate market?
Right. Okay. Create a presence. You
Mm-hmm.
know, create a presence. I know for me, one of the biggest things was getting comfortable being in these large scale homes, knowing the product. It
Sure.
really helped me coming with the background that I did have, not necessarily just flipping homes, but doing a lot of the work and understanding a quality of construction and things to look for, ways that I can protect my client from, just noticing when something doesn't look right, or you can tell that there was water damage, or just being extremely thorough and
Sure.
bringing like a value add from, another realtor that may just doesn't have the experience. I mean,
Sure.
there's no trade-off for that experience. But I would tell them, one of the best things that you can do is hold open houses for other realtors that may not
Okay.
even be with your brokerage.
Okay.
It's a luxury listing. It's recently hit the market. And if you've been in the business for any length of time, you're going to get most showings in the first couple weeks that the
Yep.
home hits the market, right? So find those luxury listings that have recently hit the market, hold the open houses, hold mega open houses, put out plenty of signs. I mean, again, there's so much information today. You can go to YouTube, the Tom Ferries of the world. Okay, shout out to Tom. I get a lot of information from him. I think he's awesome at what he does. And just do it.
Yeah.
I know it sounds so easy, but you just got to show up and do
Yeah.
it.
So and this will be added to that library of stuff that people could find on YouTube and find on Google.
Yeah.
And so I like the practical, hey, go host an open house. What did that conversation look like? You're picking up the phone, you shooting a text, you doing this, via email when you're reaching out to these real estate agents? Like, what's your pitch to say, hey, can I host an open house at your listing?
Yeah. Well, part of it is coming across with a knowledge of the product and a knowledge of the area. Bringing value. Letting them know that you're going to represent them in a good light. I don't necessarily just wear suits and ties and just because I enjoy it. You know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, I do. You do get to a point where
and Rolexes.
Yeah, you feel great. That's all good. But there's also an elevation that comes with an elevated perception that comes with dressing nice and speaking clearly and knowing the market. And even if I approach a realtor and I am going to request that they let me do an open house, I let them know that I will be there early. I will put out all the signs. I will be sure that I give you the feedback. If there's a particular script that you'd like me to ask, I basically take the risk away. I mean, you're constantly selling yourself.
So some of these first like luxury open houses that you did, were you doing it more for the opportunity to, promote this on your social media and say, hey, look, I've got this open house, this luxury listing to show to your sphere and maybe bring in some new people in your sphere? Or was it to get clients at the open house, which probably a little bit of both, right?
Yep, exactly. All of it, all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, back to creating the presence. If you go to my social media now and you look on there, you're going to see luxury homes. You're going to see interior trends, which is another thing that I'm passionate about and enjoy, just knowing that matte black is in, for interiors.
Kitchen's matte black.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. From, they're doing away with laminate floors. Now there's, a luxury vinyl tile.
LVT.
You know what I
Luxury
mean?
vinyl
Yeah,
tile.
yeah. And for the longest time, no one wanted to hear anything about vinyl floors. And, and now, so just all those things. So again, back to creating that presence, being in that space. If someone looks me up, or if I'm able to get in front of them, which is something that I'm trying to do more of now, is to get in front of people and create trust because of the information that I can provide for them.
Sure.
And bring value. We want to constantly bring value to our clients.
And so that definitely sounds like low-hanging fruit. If someone's looking for an opportunity to break in, get an open house.
Yes.
Be a professional. Be prepared. Show up. Right.
Yep.
Were you able to get any clients from open houses, doing these luxury open houses? Because I know a lot of times, agents, they're 50-50 on open houses. They're the worst thing ever and a time suck, or they're the best thing ever. And I really believe, and this from personal experience, but then also talking to other agents, it really is all about, I mean, you can get lucky sometimes, but it's about how much work you put into it beforehand.
Right.
With the signs, the social media marketing. So, I mean, were you able to get any clients from your kind of luxury open houses?
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to get clients, but I was also one thing that Grant talks about is there are different forms of commission. It's not always monetary commission. So for me to host an open house and to talk to people and to work on my scripts and to ask specific questions, the better
Huge
questions,
learning
huge,
experience.
huge.
This is gold. That's good.
Again, whenever you are stepping into these homes and you're talking to the client that has the ability and the wherewithal to purchase these homes. I mean, you're speaking with CEOs of companies, to business owners, to celebrities that walk in and you don't even know that they're coming in, and you've got to carry yourself as a professional.
Sure.
Um,
So I couldn't like show up in my uniform, which Johnny Grant's uniform is black T-shirt or black sweatshirt,
Yeah.
black jeans,
yeah, man.
and
You
I've
look
got some
good.
white
You
Air
do it.
Force
You wear
Ones
it well.
today,
You wear it well.
usually some Vans or something. But
Mhm,
I couldn't
mhm.
pull that off at a like. How much is the look?
No,
Like
no.
beyond just the knowledge level, how much is
Mhm.
the look a part of being successful in luxury real estate? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So as
Because
far
you're a
as
sharp
when
dude,
you say you
like
would,
you've got a tailored suit, like you
yeah,
look the part.
thank you. Yeah. Well, again, you can start on the zero, on the 1 yard line, and this is just kind of how I feel about it. And because there's so many different ideas on, no, it's not necessary.
Yeah,
No, you don't have to wear a daggum suit to be
yeah,
successful.
yeah,
No, you don't. Okay.
yeah.
There's plenty.
I mean, you've got the what do they call that again?
Yeah, my
You've
initials
got your
here. Yeah,
show this.
yeah,
So
man.
he's got the monogrammed,
Yeah,
you
come
know.
on.
So
But
he's all out.
well, and again, it's attention to detail. It is attention to detail, and I honestly believe that is something that to be a top producing realtor, you have to pay attention to detail,
Yep,
because one missed detail can cost you thousands of dollars. It can cost your client thousands of dollars.
yep,
It can cost the entire experience. It can cost you referrals,
yep,
future business. I mean, so you've got to know your product and you've got to focus in on the details. And
yep.
but to answer your question, it's not even that you wouldn't fit in, but I do feel like, um, you know, it gives you elevation. It
Yeah,
elevates the perception that they have of you,
yeah,
no matter what. I mean, it shows them that you care,
yeah.
in a
I get
sense.
it. You're meeting them kind of like just meeting them where they're at, and just
hmm
yeah.
And
I
there's
mean, just
nothing
showing
wrong with
up and
there's
being
nothing wrong with
professional.
the polo and the khakis and that kind of thing. That's totally fine. And some people just don't feel at the end of the day, you do need to feel comfortable.
Hmm.
And if you're comfortable, you can feel confident. And
I do think that's a huge thing
yeah.
because I think some people like probably could wear. I'm not speaking on this because I don't actually know about this, but my
hmm
gut says that if you really truly feel comfortable and confident in some jeans
hmm
and a t-shirt and it's ironed and you look presentable,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's
Right.
clean
Right.
and you can speak intelligibly and
hmm
but if you show up and you feel out of place and you feel like that people are going to be able to read
Exactly.
that energy that they don't have
Exactly.
to necessarily even know where it's coming from. They just know
Yep.
that this person seems insecure and
Yep.
doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens. And it's an intuitive, feeling. So, for me, I once heard someone say that, the best day at school and whenever there are the least amount of kids getting in trouble is on picture day,
Mm,
because they're dressed in their best
dressed in their best.
and
Yeah.
they're on their best behavior,
Yeah.
and they know if they get stains on these clothes,
Yeah.
mama's gonna wear you out when you get home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, act right.
Yeah.
Today you're gonna act right.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that. But again, I try not to be ostentatious with it, if you
Yeah.
will, or anything like that. It comes back to respecting the person that's, on the other side of me. I want them to understand that I did not get here by not selling homes. I
Yeah.
got here by producing
Sure.
and solving problems. And
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about production. So you were selling low to mid $200,000 homes, and then you
hmm
transitioned into the luxury market.
hmm
Um, that transition, did you do that um, with the idea of maybe keeping your volume the same but selling fewer homes, like just from a quality of life perspective, or Does
Well,
that make
yeah,
sense?
that's a great question. One of the things, so let me backtrack really quick. As far as when you asked me as a brand new realtor, kind of what would you recommend that they do? Let's just talk about just to produce, just
Yeah.
to kind of learn the business.
Yeah.
For me, I joined a team early on, and that really helped me. I feel like anyone that does not have, and I had, my father was in real estate. A lot of guys will join up with their family and they'll work in the family business and they'll stay, they'll get deals off of that and whatever. I have never actually worked a single deal with my dad. My
Mm.
dad has never sent me, someone and said, here you go, son,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a deal. Now he's added extreme value. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening, I love you and I thank you. But
Shout out to Pops.
yeah, man. Um, but if you're a new agent, find a team because they're going to have leads coming in. They're going to allow you to get on the phone. I think the phone is huge. If you don't like using the phone, don't get into real estate. Just
Yeah.
don't do it. Or don't expect to outproduce,
Yeah.
and be a top producer kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't agree with that more. I couldn't co-sign that any harder. I think that, what's interesting about real estate agents, well, some real estate agents, we all talk about when we're talking to our client, we have a listing, we talk about net, right? So like you might have one offer that, hey, like they're asking for a little bit more in closing costs, but their offer price is higher or their offer price is lower, but they don't want any closing cost. And so it's interesting that we advise our clients that way, but so many agents, when they're getting started out, they're like, oh, I don't want to take a lower split, or oh, I don't want to be a part of a team because, they're going to take, more commission or blah, 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 blah. But like, let's talk about net, right?
Right.
Right? Like,
Well, and again, that's back to what I was kind of speaking on earlier is, there are so many forms of commission and the amount of money coming into the business that you would spend on marketing, that you would spend on lead generating, that you would spend on
learning how to do those things too. So doing it unsuccessfully for a long
you're
time.
not even ready to take on those clients yet.
Yeah.
You've got to groom for that success. And that's one thing that was huge for me that I will always be thankful for is working and I wanted to find the best team that I could find and someone that was producing, at high levels. And I just please just let me sit in the room. Just let me be there. Let me hear the phone conversations.
Yeah.
Let me hear how you deal with, tricky situations and put out the fires and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's huge. There's just no, again, there's no trade for the experience and, because there's going to be a learning curve no matter what.
Sure.
There's no way around it.
Sure.
And, you need to set yourself up to be successful. And for me, that was it.
Yeah. So did your production volume increase when you started selling luxury real estate?
Production volume did increase selling real estate. The actual number of units moved decreased.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that
So like, how was your year last year? Like, how much did you sell last year?
yeah, last year I sold 16 homes, a little maybe a couple more. I don't know exactly, but I did a little over 12 million in volume.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
nice. 16 homes for 12 million.
Yeah.
I mean, by focusing your energy at a higher price point, that sounds very intimidating for people who have never sold a property over the median price point of their area. But I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And and one of the things that I learned from being on a team is, the particular team that I had started on, they were huge in the number of units moved as opposed to being more concerned with the amount of volume that they did. And I learned that whenever you're concentrating on just moving units, it becomes a little bit of becomes difficult to form a relationship and it be a personal transaction and not so just transactional kind of a thing. Like I want people to want to call me, because they know that I really care about they need a new landscaper or they think they need a roof or
you're their guy.
Man, if there's anything that they need, after that closing, I want them to call me first,
Absolutely.
kind of a thing. I want to
Absolutely.
continue to add value.
Absolutely.
But what was happening was we weren't getting as many referrals because it was just so transactional, and we were on to the next person,
Yeah.
call the next guy, try to,
Yeah.
So that for me is one of the reasons that I moved out to the Williamson County market and just up into the higher level,
But you
because
literally physically moved there too, though.
yeah,
Right?
which
Yeah.
was a very scary thing to do.
Yeah.
It was a very scary thing to do, to leave home, and to put yourself in the midst of the luxury market,
Yeah. So you moved 45 minutes away from Murfreesboro to be right in the middle of this luxury market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And you take that risk. Of course, we've all heard the greater the risk, the greater the reward kind of a deal. And so, but I believe that you have to submerge yourself in anything, and you have to be obsessed with it. If you look
Yeah.
at any of the guys, and again, these are not even things, this is all information that I've learned,
Yeah.
right?
There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, right.
Every
This
now
this
and
isn't,
again, but
he's so wise, and
no.
no, man, this is all from the Grants and the Toms and the Fords and the Carnegies and the
Yeah.
Zig Ziglars, and
Yeah.
I mean, like it's just it has been so helpful to take that information and just adopt it and to act on it. That's the thing. I mean, anyone can
Action.
do it. Yeah,
Action.
but you got to act. 90% of it is just showing up. You've got to show up, and that's been one of the most helpful things for me is just the mindset. The most powerful thing a man can do is to change his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
It really is.
It's up
So,
there.
it is.
So let's talk about like your worst mistake in real estate.
Worst mistake.
Worst day.
Worst mistake. I can give you
Just
a funny.
low point. Let's talk low point. Let's talk real estate low point.
Well, okay. For me, real estate low point, I can't really just focus in on like a particular deal that didn't, that maybe have fallen through or something like that, because that's going to happen to all of us. And if it hasn't, you're not doing enough business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's going to happen.
You're doing rookie numbers.
I mean,
yeah.
So, but I do remember once a funny, and I would think this is a low point. It was extremely embarrassing. I was showing a home once, and a lot of the lock boxes are pretty low to the ground. A lot of guys will just leave them on the porch, and I have my clients with me, of course, and I'm trying to open this house, and I've been down to pick up this lockbox, man. And yeah, you talk about my tailored suits, right? I have my tight pants on that day.
Okay, you had on these little skinny pants.
I bent down to pick up the lockbox, and my pants ripped.
Oh my gosh.
And they heard it, and they laughed, and it was embarrassing. Of course, I don't have a change of clothes.
That's hilarious. So you just rolled with it.
Did
you like tie your jacket around your waist like 90s swag, or did you just rolled it?
I should have.
Yeah.
I should have. I had a notebook with me.
Okay.
So I just so eloquently
awkward.
Just kind of kept it behind my back as I led them up the stairs.
That's hilarious.
And things like that. But from a more kind of, I guess, philosophical standpoint, a low point for me was whenever I realized that there's a real thing as far as momentum in this business. And whenever you stop doing the habits, the successful, the daily things that got you there, you get to that point where oh man, I've made the most money I've ever made this year, kind of a thing, and I feel like
you get fancy.
You're doing pretty well, and then that's a whole nother story. I mean, you get there, and then it's like, okay, well, I got to keep going. Like now, this isn't enough because your lifestyle changes, right? You start to, get
Rolexes,
get some other thing.
Your initials on your shirt.
Stop it. But so for me, one of the lower points was the day that I realized that my momentum has stopped because I stopped doing all the successful things that got me there. Making the phone calls, hitting the phones, knocking on doors, just following up with the clients. Because it's almost like you start expecting business to come to you, but it's not going to come to you.
Yeah.
You have got to continue learning how to convert leads and making the phone calls and touching your sphere and the direct mail, and I mean all of it. And that was the thing for me. That was probably that day I realized, yep, this is this is my responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm here because of my own doing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful thing too. That self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's like game on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I will never be here again.
Yeah.
Kind of a
I
thing.
hear you. Well, this is good stuff, man. So we definitely appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, man.
Being one of the first guests.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to I'm sure that people are going to watch the heck out of this, listen to this. If you did listen to it, you need to go do some open houses, right?
Do some open
houses.
Get out on the weekend. It's beautiful. Drive around the new construction homes. Just know about the homes.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. Know your product.
Cool. All right, Mr. Blake. Appreciate you
being
on the Bauer Real Estate Podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.